Hey, this is Home Game. Let's talk about Dyson maps. So, Bundle of Holding right now has a bundle with nothing but Dyson's maps. Um, if you're not familiar with him, he makes a lot of nice ink maps, mostly black and white, but there's some full color stuff on there too. And when he first started, it was all like hand drawings, but it seems like he's now gotten into more digital tools. But so if you go to Bundle of Holding, they have two different levels, like Bundle of Holding does, of map packs that you can buy from Dyson Maps. If you only want the first half of the pack, it's $9.95, which is perfectly reasonable if that's all you want to get because it's still a decent amount of stuff. I went ahead and covered the threshold. The threshold is 23.84 right now. Um, there's only 3 days left to this deal, so 3 days and 7 hours as of the recording of the video. But if you pay the threshold, which I think changes, and I don't know how it changes. I don't know if it's like deadline oriented or if so many sales goes up, it changes. Um, but I went ahead and I dropped like $25 and got all of the maps. So you get a couple of dungeon delves, some compasses if you want to drop them in on your own maps. Let me just bring up the file. Then the other nice thing is that when you buy these, it syncs up with your DriveThruRPG account. So all of these are now available in my DriveThruRPG, backed up by them. Not that you don't want to back up your own stuff, but if for some reason I lost it, I could go to the DriveThruRPG, and so long as they support it, I have it. DriveThruRPG also has a ton more stuff from them. So if you buy this pack and you like it, then you can go to DriveThruRPG and get a bunch more stuff. So I'm just gonna drop in. I'm gonna hope that these previews come out good enough. um, let's see. So there's a number that are just labeled dodecahedron cartographic review. So in these files, it's a bunch of maps, and the details with the maps are just story background for why he created it, who asked him to create it, stuff like that. So it's not super useful information for you to populate it usually, but they offer the book in this format to where with notations, it's still interesting to go through and read through and be like, why did he create this thing? Um, but then they also offer the same book, and if I got this filed right, I'll show. There's a no text version. So here's the same book we were just looking at, but all of the text should be removed and the map's just as big as it can be on the page, which is pretty great. Now, these are obviously in PDF format. You could screen capture these or whatever if you wanted to and dump them into like an online tool, or you could just print them right all over them and throw them on the table. So these are nice. It's like I said, I like the notes. I like the fact that he's talking about, this is what inspired me to make this, or this is the person who asked for it. He has some isometric stuff you can see. These are just yearly reviews of stuff that he was asked to do. This is literally just a front and back cover for 2015. Here's the 2015 no text version. But one of the things I really like in here are these Dyson delves. So I don't know what system that he had in mind when he was writing this text, but it seems pretty system agnostic to me. And it's like it starts out as just a big a big dungeon with descriptions of rooms. It has wandering monster tables. It describes entrances and exits for different areas. It's essentially a really big dungeon crawl that he wrote, and he breaks down per level. So this is where you would come in, and it's for first level characters. And then you can go down. Here's a bunch of text describing everything going on there. Wandering monsters, when to incorporate wandering monsters. Here's the second level, which is still first level adventure, first level characters, but then he gives you a new wandering monster chart, and new descriptions for entrances and exits off of this level in case you're confused about the writing. And more descriptions of every room on this level. And then when you get to the level 3 of this dungeon, it says it's for level 2 characters. Now, like I said, I don't know which system he had in mind. This was written in 2012, or the copyright's 2012, I believe. So you can kind of insinuate which edition he may be referring to, but he may be referring to like an OSR style game and not any kind of D&D or anything. But through my skimming, it seems pretty system agnostic to me. Like any fantasy game would come close to the types of monsters and stuff that he has listed. He has, yeah, it's copyright 2012 Dyson logos. There's a website that appears throughout these books, rpgcharacters.wordpress.com. It links you to the Dyson blog. It redirects you there. So dungeon delves, these dungeon delves though, when you get to the back of the book, it'll give you like, let me open it. Let me open it because it's wish I could. When you get to the back of the book, he'll present he'll present a map and then give you a page to write notes about it. So it's like a creative writing exercise. Here's your map, and here's a page for you to take a bunch of notes on it. So you can say everything that's in this map. He'll give you a name for it, Tower of Jen the Rose. So this, you can change the name if you want, but this can inspire you to then create the obstacles in the tower, the challenges in the tower. He does that for several of these in the back. Temple and Oracle of Fair. Stone Recesses level 2. So he gives you a bunch of samples up front, and then he gives you some fill in the blank type things in the back. And I think that's really nice. So this is what you would get if you just ordered the first half. You would get the 2 Dyson's Delves books. You would get all of the dodecahedron cartographic reviews for 2014 through 2016, and you would get this Compass Rose pack. So the Compass Rose pack is just a bunch of different compasses you can drop on a map that you create, and there's a license in here. Like if you wanted to use it commercially, I suppose you would have to read his license. You might have to These images may not be resold as stock or clip art, nor sold as standalone art. You know, if you were going to do something commercially, you would have to read through this, and maybe you'd have to contact them, and maybe there'd be some exchange of money. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't play one on TV, so I'm not going to pretend like I know. I'm not going to read this license and interpret it. So that's what you would get if you just bought the first part of it. The second part of it is this. You get cartography collections from. You get, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 books of these cartography collections. What I like about these cartography collections is they don't just offer you the page by page. They also give you a PDF of the spread. So you get 2 pages on 1 page. So when it does this long map across everything, it's not split up, because when you look at it on the other, double clicked it before I open it. If you look at it on the page per page, you get to it and it's broken in half. So the other half will be over here. But if you look at it on the spread, it's all just one big page, which is really nice that they offer that to you in both, both configurations. But this is just like the other books we're looking at, where it's like he just talks about, this isn't detailing out the locations. Or yeah, actually, it's giving a brief description of the locations, but it's not giving you a play-by-play all the monsters inside of it, and it's pretty short. These are. But the other thing is, for every map that's inside these books, he also gives you just the map in a zip file. Let's see if it'll load. Not loading. So the maps in those books are also provided in a zip file. So this is the first map we were looking at that went across 2 pages. And here it is with a grid slapped on the front of it. And also, he should see if this is it. Oh, this is a black and white version with the grid. And this should be the black and white version without a grid. So a lot of people have switched to gridless play. So you don't necessarily want a grid on your map, or maybe you just want a visual aid to slap down, or maybe the players just found a map and like you can tear this in half, and you don't want a grid on a map that they found. So like maybe they found this map of this structure, and you just rip this right hand side right off and just give them the map of this structure, saying here's your layout. But when they get to it and you have it laid out on the table, you lay down the one with the grid on it. So it's nice that he offers a full color version. He doesn't do that with everyone, but some of them have a full color version. Then you have a gridded version. Then you have a non-gridded version. What else is in here? Strange Stones is in here, which is, I believe, has roll charts for different like monoliths or stone type formations you can find that can add a little bit of flavor to adventuring across the land. And there are 3 files here that are just map packs that don't coincide with the books. And I don't know why these give you, oh, probably because they're not zipped. So these give you a nice preview. This one's a hex map. You can get it with hex, without. You got Red Talon's Lair with hex. So it doesn't look like all of these have a with and without hex, but it looks like this big one does. This next one just has with hex. But all these random maps that you can just drop into your locations because you need a map. This one has with and without. I think the default is with hex, and sometimes he'll also give you one without. So if there's only one version of the map, it'll have hexes on it. And if there's two versions of the map, it'll have hex and no hex. And if there's a third one, it might be in color. So, but there's look at all these. There's tons of these things in this one file. PDF in here. That PDF. Magical map art. Do that. This map contains all maps I have released with a free commercial use license. All the maps in this pack have a free commercial use license if you want to use it for some reason. I know that Sly Flourish mentioned that he used it he made an adventure and he used nothing but Dyson maps. I gotta hop on his Patreon, man. He's doing a lot of good stuff. Sly Flourish. Yeah, check out his YouTube channel when you get a minute. But yeah, so apparently these are all free use. You can follow the license and use them to make an adventure, eventually sell it. But that was just one. Here's another one. I know all the previews aren't loading super fast, but there's a ton of maps in here. So if you bought this, I would say that you wouldn't need to buy maps ever again, really. If you just wanted to run off this would be enough. Of course you're going to. If you're anything like me and you buy way more dice than you need and way more RPG books than you're ever going to finish reading, and just really obsessed with the collecting too. I collect more than I play. Let's see here. One thing I noticed, and I only tried it with one map. I pulled up my Roll20 and I tried inserting one map, and it didn't align with the grid properly. Which just means, Roll20 wants your whole thing to start. You have to start in a 1-inch increment from the left and from the top, I believe, justified. It didn't line up. Like it's sized great. And the grid was the proper size, and even. It was perfectly square. I typed it in manually. It looked really good. It just on the left side and from the top it justified great. From the left side it didn't justify well. Just turn off your grid on Roll20. I mean, it's not a big deal. It still works just fine. That's the only issue I ran into with their maps. But they all look great. Like, no regrets buying those things, man. Okay, let's close that. He has a blog. His blog is pretty outstanding. Let's go to that. He's got tons of free maps. It's free high-res maps you can download. I mean, if you didn't buy enough maps there, like, I'm gonna click on this and it's gonna be so big you can't see anything because it's a high-res map. So if you didn't get enough maps with what you just bought, I can't exit out of it. Then you can just go to his blog. I'll leave a link in the description and download to your heart's content all the maps you could ever want. Or you can skip buying the butthole folding and just go straight here and download 1,000 maps. It's nice that he offers these for free on his blog spot. He has other things on his blog too. I didn't dig into it too much aside from some other things I was looking for. He has some downloadable content here that has various adventure type stuff in the adventure type that he prefers. Some kind of characters stuff. He says it's for starting characters. Alien. It looks like he has. This might be things he's published. The original goal of this blog is to document my projects to make 2 NPCs for every game I own. Since it began, it has become a general RPG blog focused primarily but far from exclusively on old school games. Okay, there you go. There's your answer. So he has mazes and minotaurs. Monty Cook's World of Darkness. So these are just characters from these games, it looks like, that he's created. He's got his maps. He has random tables. So go to his blog and check it out. I mean, he's got a lot of good information here, a lot of different games and stuff to look at. So from there, this is what I was looking for: a Dungeon Morph dice. Dungeon Morph dice, cards, books, and fonts. So I want all these dice. The only thing I own out of this is I own 1 pack of the Dungeon Morph cards. And I bought these because they were much less expensive than the dice, and I really wanted to get my hands on something that he had. You can see that these are like $5. His dice are like around $20 a set, if not 30, for this crypt set of 8. I'm not saying they're not worth it. They look like they're pretty big dice from the pictures I've seen. I definitely want to get all of them. I just can't talk myself into dropping $20 on a set of dice because I'm frugal or cheap, whichever one you want to use. But if I had the money, I'd definitely come here and drop a couple $100 on his site probably. What did interest me, and these dice would be great for just rolling up. You can butt them up next to each other to create random dungeons. The cards are the same way. The cards also have a back side, which is literally just a mirror image of the front side. Even the number that's written on the card is a mirror image. So it's a little weird, but you could just lay these out on the table to create a random dungeon, snap a picture, and make that your random dungeon. You could do the same thing with the dice. They also have fonts. So this says that you load it just like a regular font onto your computer, and you can type up a dungeon. So that seemed interesting to me. If you guys want to see that, I'll buy these, and I can create a video of creating a dungeon from fonts. I would find that pretty interesting. And I'd like to play around with it a little bit if I could. So if you're interested in seeing it, I'll buy them and make a video. They're only $5 a piece. Oh, cities, man. Cities are such a pain for me. I like drawing, and I like drawing dungeons and just rooms, and I'll draw like one room and put a lot of detail into it. But cities, man, just drawing little boxes across the map always felt like such a chore for me. I wish these fonts didn't have the numbers written on them. That would have been more preferred. It looks like they have numbers on them still. But the cards are pretty much the faces of the dice just sold as a deck of cards. So that's why I just bought one of those. But I'll definitely buy these fonts if people want to see them. He also has a YouTube account. It looks like he hasn't posted a video in a year. There's no talking in the videos. I listened to a few. They just look like time-lapse videos of him creating stuff. But if you're interested in seeing that, check out his YouTube account. I'll put links to all this stuff in the description. Hopefully you guys run out and buy this from Bundle of Holding, because I'm telling you, it's a great deal. $25, tons of stuff. And go check out all of his other stuff too, because it's all great. If you like making maps and you're looking for inspiration, it's a great place to go. So thanks for listening. Went a little longer than I like to already. 3 days left on this, so don't wait. Talk to you next time. Bye.